Are you seeing new patterns of anxiety, disengagement, or identity confusion that didn't exist like 5 years ago?
Yes, absolutely. Now, this is something very different from driving or voting. Being on social media, the technology has always the forefront. So it's like a game where you are playing without any game rules. Before they start driving, they have a very solid driving test. They are taught how to drive. Nobody is teaching them what to be mindful of on social media. So, how are we letting them play a game where opponent has all the cheat codes and they don't even know the rules of the game?
Hi, folks. Well, today's a bit of a treat, I can tell you, because we've got a really outstanding person and something that worries our society more and more, particularly us parents. Now, today I'm speaking to Sajita Seta. She's a doctor and she really has insights on how digital platforms and particularly AI are influencing behavior, particularly among our young people. You know, it's both timely and deeply important for our society right now. So really, she is on the forefront of something we all are deeply concerned about, because this affects our workplaces, schools, our families. And look, maybe we need to navigate that rapidly, but the world is changing so quickly with the digital changes that we're actually experiencing. And it really is of such a concern. So, Sajita, I just really want to say welcome to you, and it's a real pleasure to have you here, and thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, Max. It's my pleasure as well. Thanks for having me.
So I understand from your day-to-day work that you're actually interfacing with the coalface. So you're at the coalface where problematic people are coming to you.
Well, everybody is coming. It's not just problematic. And this is a problem that largely affects all families. We are living through a crazy time, one of the largest unintended human experiment with digital technology and now especially with AI. Many are puzzled, many are embracing, and some are really skeptical about the future longevity of human race as well. So it's interesting time to me. This is the time that I would call interesting. I'm not skeptical and worried, but yes, in terms of affecting children, I am to some extent. The effect on families and children is tremendous. And
Yeah.
it would be one, yeah, we have learned enough from social media, and now with AI, many of us are still unfortunately not prepared to see
Well,
what
what
happens.
I'm worried about is our society is not prepared to address it, and we don't see it on mainstream media. We just it seems to be silent in this regard. So thank you for being so brave and actually prepared to confront these issues, you know, in a public forum like this. So look, tell me what worries you the most about our children and teenagers that are interacting with AI-driven platforms?
I would like to compare the situation with other risk factors uh, which have really made our society to the extent that we challenge our own existence. For example, tobacco, alcohol, they were never wiped out. They still exist. They cause lots of conflicts and poverty, but still they exist. So, if we can apply the same principle to technology, social media is unchanged, or maybe it's evolving at a very faster pace now with AI, and its harmful effects or the way it deals and shapes identity and self esteem in young, we all are aware of that, the brain development and all the harmful effects, also the good aspects. But when we focus about the harmful aspects, they
Yeah.
would stay and they would become intense. But now with AI, we have additional risk factors. We haven't really managed the existing risk factors, and now we have new upcoming risk factors, and they're going to intensify the problems that we have seen in the past.
So what
So
is it
if we are
actually
not
that
prepared,
technology's doing to our young people? You know, rather than how long they're sitting on a device, how is it affecting them?
I would say screen time as such is not a key predictor of the effect of technology on young people. 10 years back, yes, to some extent, the guidelines, the medical guidelines, especially the one from American Academy of Pediatrics, because it's among the forefront for advice. Screen time did matter, but the latest edition on policy that came out in January 2026, the guidelines are very clear. So 2 hours on screen time could be beneficial than 1 hour on screen time. It depends how is it used, in which form. If it's binge watching, which we call doom scrolling, definitely it's not good. It's not good on developing mind. But if it's intentional bloom scrolling or intentional use of technology, even AI, to boost your efficiency, productivity, learning, or even value-based curriculum, it's actually good for you. So some aspect of problem solving, as long as it's catered to the right age, it's actually good. So I would say screen time as such is not so important. It's basically how the technology and which form it is being used.
Are our young people actually consenting to what this is doing to them, or is it an illusion to them?
Well, they can't consent because they don't have the emotional and developmental maturity to understand the risk. Of course, the social media platforms and gaming platform, they give rights to use from 13 and above, and it varies. They do have some privacy loops there, but I think they are just a brainwash. Young people 13, 15 years of age, they cannot consent. They are not mature enough. Nobody has taught them what risk exists and how to navigate those risks. So when they don't have the knowledge and the information, how do we convince ourselves in believing that they have the ability to consent?
Are you seeing new patterns of anxiety, disengagement, or identity confusion that didn't exist like 5 years ago?
Yes, absolutely. The complexity, it's a very complex topic and it's also subjective interpretation. So I would say if young minds are not prepared, and 9 out of 10 are not prepared, nobody has ever briefed them on the risk and how technology can manipulate their behavior. They are not prepared and they are signing up for something which are not prepared, for which they are not prepared. Now this is something very different from driving or voting. Being on social media, the technology has always the forefront. So it's like a game where you are playing without any game rules. Before they start driving, they have a very solid driving test. They are taught how to drive. Nobody is teaching them what to be mindful of on social media. So, how are we letting them play a game where opponent has all the cheat codes and they don't even know the rules of the game? I understand the debate where it comes from, when they can vote, when they can drive, like after 16, they can drive on learner's license, then why can't they be on social media? I don't think there's any strict cutoff age when they can and when they cannot be. It depends on their maturity and their education. Are they briefed about the risk? Are they aware that each second of their time is money for technology and most of the apps, how they are designed to capture attention? Eventually they do feel, after they have spent time on social media, most of them are aware how much time they end up losing, but then it's a trap. They're already trapped to be a part of it. So before they are given a smartphone or social media, I think all children need to be made aware of the risk. So, this is my personal opinion. And I have also met clinicians who are like, no, social media can be actually good for you. Probably, maybe it was good for them, but right now, the design and now, especially how it's intensified with AI, it can be probably good for children if it's used in the right
Are you
way. So, they
seeing
need
mentally
guidance.
damaged children?
I wouldn't say they are mentally damaged. I would say they are sleep deprived. They are chronically sleep deprived, which leads to behavior issues. Absolutely. It manifests into anxiety, it manifests into, so-called bad behavior. a lot of times, and also dull mood. The risk is also different based on the age group and the gender. So girls often manifest with low self esteem if they spend too much time binge scrolling on social media. So, this is proven by research. What the research couldn't prove as such, whether the benefits and the risk, do they apply to all kinds of children? Because the risks are different with poor socioeconomic status, because, of course, they end up spending more time doom scrolling because parents are busy putting food on table and they have less time to supervise.
Well, that comes into really, do you think parents, even good parents, parents that are engaged, do you think they really understand what's going on?
Most of them know. Unfortunately, they don't understand what's going on. They want to help, most parents do, but they fail with maintaining a connection with their children. Um, I have met parents who are like, oh, we don't want to call our children. I know they are in their bedrooms, they are gaming, but the moment, we start talking to them, it ends up in a conflict, and we are in no mood to start any discussion. We just want peace and quiet. So most of the families are actually just coping through these strategies of keeping quiet when they actually do want to help deep down. Uh, it also depends on parents' education and their awareness. Some of the parents are really at forefront. They want to keep in loop of what's happening, how technology is coming out with new strategies. But I would say that is like 10%, less than 10% of the parents. The
So there's one
rest,
thing I'm hearing
90%.
out there, and as just a novice, but it certainly it does concern me, is AI is really becoming a companion to young people, where they rely on it for friendship, they rely on it for making decisions, they rely on it for everything, and of course, it's pretty intelligent, and way beyond human capabilities quite often. But what I'm thinking about is that something that really worries you to some concern, how much they will start relying on an AI companion?
As of now, I do not have the data or stats to say how much worrisome it is, but just looking and learning from the past how social media has manipulated their behavior, their identity, it would have a way stronger impact if we are not careful. AI is a yes man. It's formed and made to please you, and children would love it, and they are loving it. So those who have phones, they already have the voice enabled function for ChatGPT free version. It's very easy to access. So I have seen children, they are asking such silly questions like their life relies on AI. So it would definitely impact critical thinking, which is what I'm most worried about.
Well, that's actually going into the next question because, with AI, we've already heard from you talking about gaming. We've heard about you talking about, spending too many hours on there and getting addicted to it. But is there one issue that really you would say is concerning you most of all, regarding, children's behavior and beliefs and things like that, which is affecting the young people most of all?
With social media and AI, there is something called as an echo chamber effect, which basically means that they would have a tendency to imbibe certain set of fixed beliefs because this is what they are exposed to. So for example, young girls, if they are into looks, they are actually thrown by the algorithm more beauty products, everything to do with looks. You'll be surprised during our digital well-being workshops. I would ask 11 to 13-year olds what they are most proud of, what they feel is like a success factor. Now the question is very clear what they are proud of, so I'm talking about values here. Half of the girls would come like my hair, my skin, my nails. So I have to make them realize that this is not the focus point. This is not related to personal development. And this is all shaped by social media, the videos that they're watching. I'm not against them, but when somebody is exposed to a certain kind of content day and night, Absolutely, their values, their thinking style, their behavior is going to be shaped. And this is what we call polarization, forming a set of beliefs, a fixed belief system, and not looking for options. So, unless we tell them you need to question everything you see online, a lot of content is not even true. And this content affects them when, especially when they watch before they go to sleep, they have disturbed sleep. It's meant to spread panic or popularity, so they need to question, they need to check from other sources, which is basically AI and media literacy education. And I believe it should be introduced in each and every school, just like how we teach math, English and science. Literacy, media literacy is really important in today's world.
We've heard you mention today that there are some very positive things with AI and with our computers and even some games. But how do we distinguish what's healthy influence and what's manipulation?
So, healthy influence, I would say, if something helps you in your learning, it could be anything in your shaping, in us making a better version of ourselves, like inside our values, our intrinsic system. It motivates us, it makes us feel good, and something parents can easily relate to. I would just tell parents, spend 10 minutes with your child, what your child is watching, judge whether it's appropriate for my child or not. Uh, so this is basically what we call as bloom scrolling or bloom watching. And media is not bad. Like watching a family movie with your children is one of the best ways to spend time. So as long as you can do it together, and you feel bonding connection doing it together. And even if you don't do it together, for example, a child watching an educational video from Khan Academy, I wouldn't call it as such doom scrolling. It's educational, so it's good for you. And watching something that basically reinforces family values, it could be something related to culture, religion, that's fine. But when they are exposed to certain type of content like the manosphere, so those kind of content are polarized content, which are, for example, to show the superiority of one gender or race over another. Now, this is definitely a fixed set of belief which will change a child's identity and belief system, and parents have to be careful.
In terms of responsibility and accountability, who would you say is probably accountable and responsible? Is it parents, platforms, or governments? Or is it all of them?
Absolutely, all of them. Parents, yes. And unfortunately, parents take up all the guilt that comes along with the use of technology, which they should not be taking, because there's no parenting manual in digital world. Nobody's teaching parents what's right, what's wrong. They're also learning through their own experience and whatever they can gather online. Uh, Most of the blame also comes on parents, which I feel is very unfair.
Yeah.
Schools, because the learning is happening through technology, so the schools, they have to push for technology. And I understand there are other concerns, like we can't really go back to paper and pen system. Some schools are really advocating for that. Generally, they are on the more expensive ends, but if you can afford, it's well and good. But if you can't, I think you need to teach your children. Parents and schools, both of them together. It's not like who will take the blame. It's more like we need to work together, and there's no change possible without that.
And we have a 20-year-old today and there's no change happening. What's that individual going to look like in, say, 10 years' time? How do you predict that they will be a different citizen to what we have today?
If there's no change, we are risking the young people losing social skills. They have already lost to a significant level. Teenagers and young adults, they'll rather bury their head in phones than talk to people who come, their friends, families, uncles, aunts, even in a social gathering. And now they are going to turn to AI. They'll rather ask AI instead of their parents. And many have already started. Uh, Character.ai, they are AI partners and girlfriends, which have been banned in just few selected countries, but they're out. Anybody can have an AI girlfriend, which is absolutely not good for their well-being. So this is a 20-year-old would look like if we don't educate the 20-year-old that there's a fine line between good and the doom use of technology, and they need to take it very seriously and responsibly.
Look, we're going to wrap up at that, but look, I've got to say thank you very much. But more importantly, is there anything you want to say to summarize this and get a message out there? One thing I picked up from what you've said already is education is the key. And I think you're saying it's not just the young people need educating, it's parents, it's our government needs educating. Everybody needs to have a bit of an insight than what they've got. But what's your key that you'd like to leave a message with or a final thought with?
For the parents, I would like to leave a message. Please don't feel guilty about anything that is happening, or also don't panic about AI and technology. There's always a good use of technology which we can teach our children. If you need to prioritize something, I would say prioritize just two things. If you can just take these two keywords from this podcast, it's basically prioritize sleep for your children. 90 to 95% of the behavior problems can be fixed with sleep, and 9 out of 10 teenagers, even young adults, are severely sleep deprived. They need 8 to 10 hours. Children in general need 8 to 10 hours of sleep. And the second is connection. The only way to ensure safety in digital world for your children is it's connection. It's not punishment. It's not strictness. It's connection with your child. They should be willing to disclose and share everything that's happening in their life. And if they are not, if you have ever caught them lying or hiding or just rather share with AI and not you, you need to take some action. And parents need to be involved as much as children in shaping the digital footprint of their child. And for schools, I would recommend please take it seriously. Talk with the Ministry of Education. We need media literacy in each and every school. To the government, I would say it's not an easy task. Policy is way behind technology development, and it will always be, but we need to be on forefront. And my final message is for the tech makers, please look into child-centric technology and apps. Whatever is being developed, it's being developed for adults. It's not for children. So please look into all those educational programs, platforms, apps, which are meant for children and for all children at the right age and maturity.
Well, Doctor, thank you very, very much. I reckon that was very insightful, but there's a long, long way for our society to go to catch up with technology. And I think the conversation we've just had is something that should be continued. I'd love to get you back sometime. Would you come back and have another talk?
Absolutely. I loved it. And thanks for having me, Max.
Oh, you're welcome. Come back again, and we will continue this because I think this is one of, well, the world's biggest issues right now, and it needs to be addressed for our future. But lovely to see you, Dr. Joe. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
My pleasure. Thank you. Bye.